Right, hi everybody, and welcome to another Real Wunderkammer podcast. I have Ali. Ciao, Ali. Thanks for coming on. Ali's from Italy, Turin. Is it Ali? You're from?
Yes, Turin, north of Italy, correct.
Yeah, and Ali is if you don't know him already, he's an amazing collector of both curios and Wunderkammer, and he sort of collects items that really have great provenance and a great story behind. That's sort of what you look for. Is that right?
Yes, I reopened a physical shop 2 months ago in Turin
Yeah.
because after many years on Instagram only, I was I was looking for more human contact, a human relationship. From an economic point of view, maybe it doesn't make very sense, but it doesn't matter because I like to share passions, to meet person, so I'm really enjoying it. This good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always nice to. Instagram's great, isn't it, Ali? It is a great place to, get in contact with people around the world. But you can't beat someone coming in and showing them what you've got, and especially with some of the items that you have that have such a wonderful story behind them, which I love. Whenever I go onto your Instagram, you've always went into so much detail with the story and the provenance behind those items, and I think that's what is so good when you have people coming into the shop, obviously, so you can really tell them about that story.
Yeah, you are right. Because what really excites me about an item is not really its rarity, its beauty, but the history behind it. Because in some way you can live in another age just through the items, discovering new habits, imagining all the centuries that items go through, and so that's make the difference to me. I mean, and
Yeah,
sharing it with other person that have the same passion, it's the best reward for me. Yeah.
it's nice to find out, new things. I mean, how long have you been collecting, Ali?
Well, I can remember a phase of my life where when I was not collecting. I mean, since I was a child, I was obsessed with every kind of collections. So I could say that I started as a serious collector when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And my beginning was a bit strange for Nautilus because I was an avid collector of pressing irons, so the set irons, you know,
What were you a collector of? Sorry.
of pressing irons.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Right. Okay. Well, that's very different. I did not know that. So, is there many people that collect irons, Ali?
You can't believe the word behind the set irons. There are conventions, dedicated auctions, crazy prices.
Really? Oh, that's
Yes,
incredible.
yes,
So
yes.
what is the most sought after iron in a collector? If you were a collector of an iron, what would be the most sought after iron?
Yes, so there are plenty of different models that you can even imagine because we are used to the most common ones, but there are several shapes, several technologies. And I
Right.
sold my collection, of course, several years ago, but I kept my preferred one, that was this one.
Oh,
And
and that's
this is one of the oldest pressing irons known because it's from 16th centuries.
whoa.
It's of course wrought irons, but I love, of course, the design and the fact that the handle is shaped like a salamander. Okay, so
Oh,
this is a little
unusual.
the little head with this shape. So
Wow.
it's a primitive iron that already contains what in the later years more excite me. That is folk art, basically primitive arts, primitive design. I can feel the effort of the blacksmith to produce this kind of iron. And so that's why among all my collection, that's the ones that I I kept for me. Yeah.
So, Ali, it started off with irons, and then where have you ended up now? Because what would be your main sort of items that you collect, would you say?
Well, it's hard to say because, as you know, following my Instagram, I cover several areas. I can say that history of medicine, for sure, has been my first obsession. Following pressing irons, everything started finding a monaural stethoscope in a flea market. This is an instrument to hear the beat of the heart, of course.
Okay.
And so, following this first discovery, I go further details of medical history, and so I became an expert in antique surgical and medical instruments. Then I move in a more spread way to the antique scientific instruments. But my real passion is folk art, religious art. I'm a collector of antique ex-voto, painted ex-voto, for instance. You know, the paintings where the miracles are represented in order to thanks for surviving an incident, for recovering from an illness, and so on. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes, it's because Italy as well and the provinces, they had a lot of that, didn't they? It was very like how would you say, sort of tarot and fortune telling and magic. You know, it was that sort of more a provincial thing in Italy, do you think?
Sorry.
So you say about this ex-voto and all this idea of miracles and things like that. Well, that's very. I always imagine that as very sort of Italian, and as in sort of fortune tellers and old women that would go and see people and that sort of thing. And it is that the sort of thing that you collect, that history of the provinces and the countryside in Italy.
Yes, definitely. This is one of the place where you can find this kind of stuff. And for instance, I love when there is an intersection between religious feelings and superstition. For instance,
Yes.
I can show you an items that, in my idea, perfectly represent the kind of attitude. It's this Jesus.
Wow.
But maybe I can open it because it's easier. So this is a Jesus at the first sight, but it's an automa. So if you look to it carefully, you can see that he can open and close his eyes.
Wow.
And you can move the mouth as well.
That's incredible.
Because there are two keys, and then I think that in this way you can scare the religious persons, and the offer to the church were much more rich after this demonstration of Jesus.
Wow.
This is from Sicily, where you can find the most interesting example of crossing between superstitious and popular beliefs and religious. Yes.
So so people would they think that was someone would be working that where they wouldn't be able to see them, and they would think that was a miracle? Would that be what they would use that for? Would it be sort of,
Well,
yeah? Do you think, or and then they would, because would someone sort of work it from underneath a table or something, and you wouldn't know that someone was working it?
well, this kind of stuff was in the church for sure, But automata like these are not really known, so they were very specific. So it's hard to understand where it could be used. But if I imagine it in the darkness of a church, it should be very scary for people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great thing. What is it made out of, Ali? What material is it?
It's made of it's carved wood.
Mm.
Carved wood inside the glass dome with the real crown, with the real crown of
Thorns.
spikes. Yes.
Yeah,
Thorns,
thorns.
spikes.
Yes. Wow. That's an incredible piece, and that's obviously one of your best pieces in your collection. Is that one of your favourite pieces?
Yes, definitely. That's why it's still my home. In this moment, having opened a shop, it's hard to have a define the boundary between personal collection and items for sales. But for sure, this is one of my preferred one. Yes, it's just behind my desk. This way, I can enjoy it every time I'm at work. Yes.
That's amazing. So you
But
have some
yes.
yes, please show me some more items because they're amazing. You have such a wonderful collection.
I was playing with this head. These are, speaking about ex-votos, some very rare ex-voto from Naples, because usually, you can see the metal art or the arm, the leg, so part of the body that was offered to thank the god for recovery. But in this case, the ex-voto was a full representation of the head and the face of the person or of the lady that was receiving the miracle. So this kind of ex-voto were hung to the wall of the church in order to make tangible the acknowledgement, the mercy for the mercy received. Yeah. So these extremely rare are from Naples.
Wow. Yeah. And they're metal, are they? Are they pressed metal?
Yes, it's metal, but it's hollow, so it has been worked from the inside in order to represent the real face of the person. And in some of them, there's carved on the neck the name of the person and the date. So these are from 19th centuries. Yes.
Wow. They've
But
got a
I
great
love,
look.
for instance, yeah, look at the way they shape also the hair of this lady.
Wow.
That is still seeing to us. Yeah.
Wow, incredible. They're great. I really like them, Ali. They're really cool. They're quite sort of. They just give you a great feeling, because they're such the sort of the way that they've detailed a person is. It doesn't look like a person, but has the feeling of a person, which is very unusual, isn't
Yeah,
it?
correct. Yeah, they perfectly remind you the genuine faith that make this person invest in this kind of items that was for sure expensive at their time, because was they had to in charge an artist to produce this artifact and to give it as a gift to the church. But for them, it was the most important things in that moment. So
yeah,
that's
they wanted that
a great
miracle,
relic.
didn't they? They wanted the miracle, basically, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely.
They would go a long way to
So
get
well
their miracle.
worth the effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what have you got next to you there, Ali? Because I'm interested in the piece that you have next to you. My eyes are drawn to this one. Yes.
Yeah, there is this little creepy doll.
Yeah.
Oh, look, don't worry, my lady. So this is a Gussie Decker doll. Gussie Decker was the maker that patented this kind of doll in the late 19th centuries. and it's leather stuffed with horse hair.
Okay.
And this was basically a toy in order to teach to the children to lace the string for the shoes. Okay,
Oh, okay. Yes, that's great.
so in this way, yeah.
My
But
little son
following
now learning to tie his shoes, and I'm having to, and
perfect. So
I'm trying to teach him how to tie his shoes, and what a great tool to learn with, because it's that's amazing.
um, but they are now a little bit creepy because
Yes,
the
yes.
aspect was not very friendly, but it was a very funny way to learn the children how to use the
They've
shoes. Yeah,
they've got that wonderful patina as well, because they've been handled so many times with the leather as well, and obviously you get the oils, don't you, coming out, and it gives it that great look, that sort of look that you can't fake, for age wise, which is amazing, isn't it? Ali, I
yeah,
actually
yeah.
do you have any, do you have some more items?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
So
brilliant.
this is for you, Ed, because I know it's one of your passions. So okay, let's see if we are able to show you this.
Oh,
So
I can remember
this
these,
is,
Ali. These are amazing. I love these.
I know. So this is Nessie, as you know. So this is
Yes.
the monster of Loch Ness. This is surprising some poor people on the beach that are running frightened by it. So this is a great folk art painting, and
Oh,
it's even better because behind it there is a paper with the date that it's 1933. That is,
wow.
let's say, I would say the beginning of the obsession with Nexi, with
Mm.
the first time that they see it. And
Oh, I
there is
love it.
also, let's say, yeah, the story of the monster. But it's funny because along with this, there are also two other ones with the artist that is imagining Nessie fighting with another dinosaurs,
Wow.
and
Wow,
also
look at
behind
that.
it there is the explanation about the kind of monster that is fighting, and another one of it with our Nessie that is eating on the grass.
They are they're brilliant. Thank you, Ali, for showing, because I can remember when you I just thought it was a great piece, because to find a painting of the Loch Ness monster, and also the age, because Nessie, there was just such a sort of like a buzz about Nessie in like the 1930s and 40s, and you see that with postcards, and well, there still is. I mean, do you believe in the Loch Ness monster, Ali?
I believe on it for several years because when I was a teenager, my life was changed by a book about Nessie, and became a fan of cryptozoologist. That, as you know, is the science that study this kind
Yeah,
of missing animals like the Yeti, the Mokelembembe in Africa, and Nessie and so
yeah,
on.
yes,
So
cool.
yeah, I'm still looking for his discovery, let's say.
So, let's talk about cryptozoology. What is your favorite monster? The cryptozoology monster. What is your favorite one, Ali?
Well, for sure, Nessie. Nessie,
Yeah,
because the taste around the lake was amazing. With the priest that look, the sea heat, the monks that in Middle Age already
mm.
identified it, the drawings, and yes, Nessie has a special place in my heart.
Yeah. I love Nessie, and I love the Yeti as well, because I just think that they're both they could be true. I mean, Nessie could be a plesiosaur or a dinosaur, yeah,
Sure,
and
agree.
and the Yeti could be sort of Neanderthal man, that type of thing, like a primitive human, you know. And yeah, I've
Survived,
just
yes, in the case.
yeah, so I like them both because they're believable. There's some that you just think are too far out to believe, but those two, and I think that's why they're probably the most popular, is because you can almost resonate with them and actually believe in them, which is great. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a big cryptozoology fan, Ali. So you're talking to the right person as
Oh,
well.
great. You can understand me. Great.
And the same with me as well. It was when you were younger. There was like the Book of Monsters, and it would really get your imagination going. And I think that's why I like Wunderkammer and Curios as well, because that also gets your mind going as well. You sort of have to research it, you sort of have to look into it, which is really fun. And then it can be a real thing, and then it can be a fake thing. You sort of, it could go either way when you do your research into it, which is really fun as well.
Yes,
So
it's a great way to redirect your sense of wonder, for sure. Yeah.
so I've got some questions for you as well. So because I put on Instagram, I said I was doing a podcast with you, and I had a few questions. So I've just picked a couple. So from Monday_Wunderkammer, he said, "What do you think is the future for the Wunderkammer business?"
Okay, look, I start as most of us as a big fan of the Cabinet de Curiosités. Okay, so the place where you put together all the items of your collection, creating a small or big cabinet and so on. Now, I must say that I'm a bit evolving or changing in my mind because I no longer like the massive accumulation of items altogether, but I prefer to have them spread around, for instance, my house, without maybe an accumulation on the same topic. Okay, so I'm no longer a fan of the vertical collection. I mean, I'm a vertical collector in several areas, but I must say that I have to think in the future. I would prefer the customer when they ask me an items without any collection, any connection with a precedent collection, but just because they'll fall in love with a specific items and they are able to put it in their place where they lived. Okay, so in this way, this item will become a part of their everyday life. That's what I think is. And so when I propose some things, I propose some things not as part of a broader collection, because it means that you need to enter in a tunnel that will last and will for the life. I prefer to select a unique items, but that can make the difference in your daily life. So when somebody asks me, better if I buy 3 pieces or just one? No, please select the best one because you will be always happy to look at it instead of 3 medium value piece that will not change your experience.
Yeah, I
So I
think
think
I
that
I think you're right. I
yeah,
think it's changing to, instead of having a room with a collection in, it's changing to specific pieces in an interior that that become a talking point. So they become the, you walk into a room, you see something, and they'll be, "Oh, what is this?" And then you'll be able to talk about it. Whereas a cabinet of curiosities has so many that you're not just drawn to that one item. It's almost like, oh, it's a cabinet of curiosities, and you don't delve into each item. Whereas if it's a standout item, you're able to channel all of your attention into it, and I think a good,
Yeah.
a great way for the Wunderkammer and curio sort of world to go as well, because it's really going to open it up for any place in the house then, or in the business, or in the shop, you know, in that sort of way.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I totally agree with you. So, of course, most of us are not the paradigm of that, because my house is not a single items that bring attention. It's
It's
it's a
everything.
tons of
Yes.
items.
Yes,
So
I think we're,
I'm not really the champion in this approach, but
but
generally speaking, also considering that not everybody, of course, can fool their house with old stuff. I think that a few special pieces could be the right balance for everybody. Yeah.
yeah, it will bring more people into this field as well, won't it? Because you haven't got to have so many, then you can just have a serious piece to talk about as a wow factor. So I've got another question, and you'll like this one. This is from Fleeting Fox Antiques. So he says, what's, and he's really into anatomy and medical, I know that with Jay. So what's been your favorite piece out of all your anatomy pieces?
Okay. Yes. As you know, I don't like to sell my pieces very much, and so I often regret about pieces sold in the past. But among my biggest regret is for a couple of capital amputation saws from the 16th centuries that I sold in the past. So to me, amputation was in the imagination the most gruesome operation in the past. You needed to think that there was no anesthetics, so you can well imagine the impact of that kind of surgery, and the bigger amputation saws was really my favorite ones. Yes. I got a couple in the past. I've sold them. I regret it. So I'm looking for another one to replace it in my collection. Yeah.
And what would be your sort of dream piece? I mean, to find what is the piece that you would be like the holy grail for your collection? Is there a piece out there that you really want?
Yes, I often ask myself these kind of questions, and I must say that the answer changes every day, because it really depends on, yeah, because my passion change very very quickly. But well, you know that I'm in love with antique mannequins. So the life size mannequins for painters, for artists, and
Okay, yeah.
among them there are the French ones that had an inside skeleton of iron and food and stuffed with horsehair in order to make the proper body. And
Right.
I have a couple of them that are
Mm,
extremely rare, but
mm.
even rarer is the children.
Oh,
So
okay.
there is the version of this kind of life-size mannequins of the children, extremely rare. I came across in a couple of pictures of them in the past, but I never seen it by real. So yes, for today my answer would be the the the, the, the children version of that kind of mannequins. Yes.
Mm. Have you got any? Have you shown all the items that you've got there, Ali, at the moment, or have you got anything else to show us? Was that it with the Loch Ness Monster, or is there any more?
Well, I can still share this kind
Oh, right.
of oddities. Okay, let's see if you can see it a little bit. So this is a belt. This is basically a belt. Maybe you can imagine the use.
Yeah.
So there was an age in the 19th centuries, early 20th century, where masturbation was
Mm.
not really well seen,
Yeah.
and especially in the insane asylum and religious institution, onanism was forbidden, of course.
Hmm.
So they developed some devices to avoid that the children during the night can experience that kind of divertissement. And this and this is a belt that was closed around the teenager, that of course prevent any possibility for him to enjoy the night. Yeah. But even worse was this device. Maybe you can see it. It's
right. Okay.
there are metal teeth. There is a ring, and it could be put on the male
Right.
penis.
Yeah.
And of course, whenever during the night some dreams bring your attention, of course, this kind of spikes really
Right. Okay.
avoid to go further. So
Whoa.
this is
That's
called spermatorea. This is the spermatorea ring, and it's in the catalogs, the medical supply of the period, and it's another device made to avoid this kind of activity. So it's
that's it.
of course it's tightly related to the morbidity of and the operation due to religious beliefs, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I've never seen anything like that. To be honest with you, that's pretty.
Yeah, and just to close this area, a quick overview to this, that it's even never seen, because this was found in the room of a nun in an Italian monastery.
Okay.
So again, this is a belt that can be put around the waist of the nun.
Yeah.
And I'm still studying this kind of piece, but it's like a sort of chilichum, because these chains are very, let me say, impactful. And this is covering the lower part of the body of the nun. And I think that there was more than a practical use, a sort of a symbolic
Right.
value. So like a sort of, I reinforce the concept of my virginity. Okay.
Right.
So this is
Yes.
a very, very
That's very.
unusual stuff.
And
Yeah.
these are all your private collection. These are, Ali. None of these are for sale. All of the ones that you've shown, they're all your private collection, aren't they?
Yeah, at least at the moment, yes. Then I know that things
Can
find
change.
their way in some way. Yeah.
So also another question for you. Is there any collectors and dealers out there that you sort of admire and like? You know, can you think of anybody in particular who you really sort of think, oh, they've got some good stuff?
So my preferred colleagues.
Yes, please. Yes.
Oh yes, sure. There are many, and the Instagram it's an amazing place of inspiration. But since many years, for instance, obsolete, Ray, obsolete from California, really taught me a lot about, let me say, the way you can see the items, the way you can display it, the taste in the selection. So Obsolete was a pioneer in my experience for that. So very recommend it. In Paris, there is Evelyn Antiques. She has a passion for mannequins, and so for sure it's like an heaven for me. The shop. Yes. And of course, about folk art, the American dealers are the top. Since a couple of years, they run in New York an exceptional exhibition called Art Without Intent. There's old Saddam, I remember, and other colleagues very specialized in this kind of art. And this is something very disruptive, very innovative. So when you think about something new in that tech market, when you think that everything has been already discovered, for instance, folk art is something that, for instance, in Italy, no one's take care of it. In America, of course, they are far already very well into this topic. But in Italy, there are not yet this kind of sensitivity about folk art. So you can still find a lot of material, but no one cares about it. So
yeah, I think folk art's great because you get that story behind it because someone's done it and put that sort of energy into it, so you really get a story behind it. So talking about, obviously you say it's quite easy to find those sort of pieces in Italy, and obviously that's why you can get some of the pieces that you get, the folk art pieces. Where do you, I don't want to give too much away, obviously you've got specific people who and places you go, but where do you usually sort of source your items? Is it in Italy, do you have like antiques fairs, do you have markets, or is it sort of private collectors, or is it just all of them?
well, yes, as you know, an items can pop up wherever, but for sure, we are lucky enough to have plenty of flea markets. So on Sunday morning, I get up very early to be there, and you can choose every Sunday which kind of flea market attend, because in the surround there are often at least 2 or 3 interesting flea markets where you can look for antiques. Of course, quality is a little bit, no, it's decreasing in the recent years, mainly due to internet. Nothing new, because most of us is proposing items on internet and not on the Sunday the Sunday booth and at the flea market. But there are still a generation of traditional dealers that are not yet on internet, so you can still enjoy a lot of good findings still on the field, let's say. But of course, rules are changing pretty fast, so better to explore all the potential options.
Yeah, for sure. What's been your best find this year, Ali? So what have you found anything good this year out at the flea markets?
Oh, well, I'm in love with all puppets, all the marionettes. So I
Yeah.
recently found an amazing collection of old puppets. So yes, sometimes as soon as you are complain about the low quality of flea markets, some things pop up that make change your idea, that give you a reason to get up early again.
Yeah,
And so yes.
that's the same for me. In England, we have our Carboots, and there's where people turn up and they unload their stuff and they open up their car boot and you look through the car, the car boot. They have a table, and it used to be good, again, pre-internet. You could always find something, and it used something worth going, and then it's just sometimes you go and you find nothing, and then you think, oh, I'm not doing this anymore, and then that'll be that last time that you go. And it was like this year, I found the most amazing oil on board picture of birds, like 19th century, and then and it was just like incredible, one-off piece.
Keep going.
Keep doing it. Basically, you've got to be out there and you've got to sort of keep trying and doing it. And I think it's something that we all enjoy as collectors and dealers, is also going out there and that hunt and sort of seeing people and finding that those treasures, isn't it? Which
Definitely.
is great.
Yeah.
Well,
For sure.
Well, Ali, it's been great to have you on, and thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. For anybody out there, just please go and if you don't already, follow Ali. He's Nautilus_antiques. And then also, if you're in Italy and you happen to be listening or watching, go and visit Ali. Whereabouts are you?
For sure. Thank you very much, Ed. For sure, I will wait for you in Turin for a coffee together.
Yes, for sure. That would be lovely. I mean, you saying that there's flea markets every Sunday, it's made me think I'm going to be booking a ticket next year to Italy for sure, Ali. So, and yeah, and definitely, and I'd love to
Great.
come and see your shop. That would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, thanks, mate, and thank you everybody who's tuned in and watched this on YouTube or Spotify. We're on all platforms, and thank you very much, Ali.
Ciao, Ed.